All right, everybody. Welcome. All right, Dr. Shanta,
Hello,
nice
how
to
are you?
connect. How are you?
I'm good. I was like, I think I'm in the wrong place. I kept getting all these other emails, and I'm like, there is a Zoom link.
There is a Zoom link, and we are live in our community. So very nice to meet you virtually. Where are
Thank
you
you.
based?
I'm in Tampa, Florida right now.
Very beautiful. How is the weather?
Nice. It's very nice.
Good. I envy you a little bit, even though it's getting warm here in New York as well. So we are excited that summer is happening soon, even though it's kind of prolonged, it seems like this year a little bit. So
Yeah.
awesome. Nice to have you here. And then Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa. Welcome. Welcome to our speaking event. One of our amazing community experts. How are things by you? You are also local in New York, Alyssa, right? So we share the same weather. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ladies, and all the speakers that will be joining us shortly in our Life School global community here. So what we do here, our vision, mission, and values, so that obviously we ensure that we're in the right place and aligning with the right values, because values are very important in a community for sure, is to empower CEOs to realize their life's purpose through legacy entrepreneurship. So that is our vision. Our mission for the community is to become the most influential global community in purposeful entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship in impacting the world to become a better place. And then our values are community, connection, service, growth, and freedom. And I'm the founder of the Life School and the CEO, and we help, as I said before, visionary leaders grow businesses that are purpose-driven through branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team, so they can maximize their impact and income and do more good in the world and choose the channel of entrepreneurship to do just that. So I can't wait to introduce my community expert, Alyssa, first to all of you that are watching this live and also on replay. Alyssa, if you could share with us a little bit around your background and also the work that you do. Would love to hear a little bit more regarding that.
Yes, so my name is Alyssa Maldonado from Queens, New York, and a little bit about me. I am a mom of two girls that's autistic. I'm 24 years old. I work with this company called PPSI Legal Shield, and what we do is we help people access to top-rated law firms, and also we have another service where we also help people protect their identities. So yeah, and it's all around 50 states and Canada.
I love that. So what attracted you to the work that you do with Legal Shield initially? Oh, I think you're muted.
I saw value in the services for myself because I could make a will. Since my two daughters are autistic, so I wanted to make sure they're in good hands if God forbid something happens to me. And then I realized, like, it's not only about me. I could spread the word about the services that benefit from me. I could help others out there too. So I was like, you know what? Let me share this. This is going to be very helpful. I feel like it can make a difference in people's lives. And that's why I did this.
Absolutely. There's the legacy, your beautiful daughters. So if you were to share with us three things, Alyssa, based on, what attracted you in the value of the services provided, what are the three things that you wish people knew more about protecting their legal side of things, so to speak?
I could say that it's affordable with our services. That was one, because I know lawyers are very expensive. And especially if you need just to know your rights, because if you don't know all your rights, you have no rights at all. If you're going through just, contracts, because I know business owners, everyone goes through those type of stuff. We go through contracts, and sometimes people don't think about having a lawyer to look at a contract because of the fact that, lawyers are expensive. But with our services for, again, Legal Shield, basically It's $30 a month, about $30 a month, actually, I should say. And then with our ID Shield, I feel like it's also valuable because a lot of people don't know with one of our services with ID Shield, it covers with so many things, meaning protecting your social medias, because people hack into your social medias. It could help you to know your credit score. It could also be, you know, sex offenders. They also notify you with that. Also with your bank account, or like, your credit cards, it would notify you. And if it wasn't you, they're going to investigate and find out who it is trying to pretend to be you. And I think that's so valuable because a lot of people are actually going through that right now in our life right now. So I feel like when I heard of this, because I know I got hacked in Facebook, Instagram, we all go through it. And things, I thought that was so important that we start helping people to start protecting each other and helping each other with that.
Yeah, I love that's why I asked that question, because the spreading and the awareness and the education that not always, we don't always have in our fingerprints, especially as we're growing our businesses, it's important because everything starts there, right? Once we're aware that we have a pain point or problem and there is a solution out there, and then we build our network with trusted, we will talk about trust and influence a little bit here as well. But once we build really high quality relationships and really nurture those relationships, then we know who to go to, right? So having a trusted network of people that we can first leverage ourselves based on our needs and our journey as we are growing as entrepreneurs, but also that we can tap into and refer one another where the people are vetted, right? We already have built trust with one another, which is so important. I believe in anything we do as personal human relationships, without even mentioning the business side of things. So love that. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for sharing that. And Dr. Shanta Highness, I hope I'm not butchering your name. It's the first time we are virtually connected. I think we connected from another community or summit together because I also do a lot of speaking. So it's really great to have you here in our community as well. So if you'd like to share with us a little bit about your background and also a little bit about the work that you do in the world.
All right. Well, it's Shantae Haynes. So we will get that.
I was so off. I apologize.
That is okay. That is okay. Actually, my name means Princess of Peace. So I'm going to try to be peaceful in all of this. How's that? But the way I tell my story, and I tell it a couple different ways, I guess, but for this community, I would say that a few years ago, I felt like I was flying in the air without an airplane. I don't know if you ever felt like that. COVID had hit. My life was definitely turned upside down. I was going through a divorce after it was just shy of 30 years, and we dated 6 years before we got married. So when I say the rug got pulled out from under me, I mean it. My children had just moved out, so I'm an empty nester. I lost my job as a theology professor since we weren't meeting in person. And so to say that I was struggling with an identity crisis really is an understatement. I didn't know who I was anymore. And, we say we're human beings, not human doings, but typically the way we act is we're human doings. And the doing that gave me purpose at that time was void. So I didn't even know what to dream anymore. So I sat in God's waiting room. And sometimes it's very hard to sit in the waiting room, but it truly is worth it. I sat and I reflected on all that I had accomplished. The credentials told one story, and the crisis that I had endured really backed it up. So I still had a message, and I had a ministry that I needed to still continue to serve others. And I wasn't going to allow the dash between my birth and my death to be in vain. So I recognize that I'm allergic to mediocrity, and I look for those people who also are allergic to mediocrity. My favorite scripture says that whatever you do it with all of your heart as unto the Lord and not to man. So I recognize I was too anointed to be average. So today what I do is I empower women that they can confidently live life to the fullest, not playing small, whether they're transitioning through a devastating loss of divorce or death of a loved one, a job change, or moving intentionally toward a fulfilling dream. I help them reframe their story, reinvent themselves, and reimagine their future. So what I really fight for is for those that are waiting to hear, experience, and transform, because you are showing up authentically with what God has placed on the inside of you. So that's what I do these days.
So powerful. And I love that you said that you waited in God's waiting room, and faith is one of those very important, no matter what, it does not matter what faith that you are part of, but, having that faith, that spiritual health, so to speak, in your journey as an entrepreneur, not only will it help you stay on your path towards your purpose, stay aligned, right? Overcome challenges, adversities, moments of doubt, the insecurities, all those things that I think we all face, whether we're entrepreneurs or not, as human beings. But when we're chasing for something greater impact, right? Greater financial freedom for our family, greater time, location freedom, right? Greater whatever that means for all of us. I think, it's a journey where our own self-development and faith is tested many, many times. So I love that you have that power and you are connected to source, and that absolutely helps you through in your journey as well, and empowering so many women to go through those life transitions. I always say that a mentor is crucial when we're going through a transition. It really does not matter what it is, whether you're going from a corporate job to an entrepreneur, to become an entrepreneur, you're moving to a new country, you're going through a divorce, you're going through the grief of the death of a loved one. These are all life moments. So having someone there to hold the space for you as you navigate this new territory and start realigning, your purpose, because a lot of times that is shattered, right? You probably have attached a lot of your identity to those events, major events in our lives. So I love the work you do. But before I ask you, Dr. Shanta, to kind of share with us some of the foundational framework that you have seen through your work with women on what are some of the things that holds women back as they're going through a transition, and what's on the other side as you help them kind of access that transformation. I was going to ask you about all the purple behind you. That caught my eye. What's the meaning?
Purple is royal. That's the royal side. So that is the spiritual foundation. I write a lot of books on finances. And so I've got the green and the purple that go together. I used to be a theological professor for over 20 years. And biblical finance was one of those areas that I saw people take my classes. They would pass the class, but their finances would still be jacked up. And what I recognized was that women going through divorce, the statistics show that 90% end up in poverty, or whether they're widowed. And I'm like, no way, we got to figure out something here. We got to do something different. And a lot of it was because we didn't understand the financial side. So I always say I help women adjust their crowns. You'll hear me call them hello, beautiful all the time, because we don't hear it enough. But we have to go from, or transform from, wounded to confident. And so in doing so, some of those things is, we're looking for is not only am I enough, but I need to have that financial security as well. So those are kind of, some of the main things, especially for those that are going through the devastation. And I didn't mention, I lost a daughter about 18 years ago. So I've got 3 girls, but one of them is already in heaven waiting on me. And I'm like, okay. And going through that spiritual foundation was so key for me. But what I recognized is everyone doesn't have that. And when you mention the fact that you need a mentor when you're transitioning, that's what I do, because I recognize that, you feel a little lost. You're discontent sometimes just in what am I supposed to be doing? Or you're completely devastated and life has just been pulled out from under you. And you're like, what's the movie with Will Smith where it was like Independence Day or something? It was like everything is just gone. And you're like, okay, where is everything? Nothing is here, because the things that we build our life upon, and that's one of the reasons why we go through this devastation, is we're looking at other people's expectations. We're not even taking stock of the strengths that we have, the gift sets that we have, what has God placed on the inside of us, because we're all unique. We don't need to imitate someone else. And I know, there's that quote out there that says, imitation is the highest form of flattery. I say it's the lowest form of who you really are when you're imitating someone else. Instead, You need to own, your authority, own who you are, own your uniqueness, and be the best version of you, because there's so many people that are waiting. So I didn't give you I don't know if I answered your question, but you took me on a rampage.
Yeah, we are known for speaking from the heart, and I am not the best for people that need certainty around like, what topics are we speaking about? Because I love the energy of the present moment and just the conversation that just stems from one thing to another that gives people that, that authentic message that really comes through us, right? And we all have it, a lot of us have tapped into it, and most of us have never been trained that there's such a thing inside of us, and we're all natural speakers, right? Because if we have a message and we want to share something, we find the words. We do it all day, every day. So it's kind of that bigger mission behind the energy, and kind of intuitively pulling in and connecting our hearts together and sharing the message that just comes through with no preparation. I mean, that I build my whole platform on that, because I also believe that whatever you need to share with the audience that you're part of, it will come through you. Dr. Shanta, my last question for you as we wrap up today is the vision behind your company. What is your company called?
The name of my company is Heart to Heart Truth Ministries. I believe that true learning is not head to head, but it's heart to heart. So just like what you said, the passion does come out. When I was teaching, they called me the firecracker personality, because it was like everything was in black and white that they were reading in the Bible. And it's like, nope, let me add the color and the stereophonic sound, because I make it real for you so that you can apply it. That's the only way that you're going to be able to walk it out. So one of the things that I say is, or I mentioned before, you have to reframe the story. You have to look at it from a different vantage point. What is left is a lot more than what left you. So I always focus on the collateral beauty instead of just the collateral damage. And then I say, you've got to reinvent yourself. Put the superwoman cape in the cleaners and leave it there. We don't have to be superwomen all the time. You have to give yourself grace for whatever the space that you're in. So reinvent who you are, looking for your strengths, but then also reimagine your future. If you don't, you'll stay stuck where you are instead of moving forward into where you need to go. And so those are kind of like the 3 pillars that I typically talk about.
Wow, beautiful message. I always ask that because that's the trigger behind the vision. That's the trigger behind why we chose to do the work we do. And a lot of times that is so organic to us, and comes to us through our visions or through our awareness that we develop over time, that it's like that's connected to your purpose. So we're all visionary CEOs, right? Because we started our companies, and through our companies, we want to make impact, and of course, create the tool of income so that we can invest back and invest in causes and do all the things that we can do as heart-driven entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for sharing that. And also, lastly, where is it that people can continue this beautiful conversation with you?
Oh, sure. My website, shantayhaynes.com, is always the best place to start. And if you are a treasured woman, I do have a treasured woman Facebook group as well that I keep encouraging and empowering people to move forward. But definitely go to the website. I look forward to seeing you there. I also have a podcast and a YouTube channel, so I inspire as much as I can each and every day.
I love that. And Dr. Shanta will probably also be part of our Facebook group community, the Life School. So we will be able to have her share the links there for easy access. I so appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dr. Shanta, for everything you shared. And you're such a beautiful soul. I'm glad that we had this initial conversation today, and looking forward to adding value to one another's world. That's really what this is always about. So thanks so much for sharing.
So much for having me. It truly has been a pleasure meeting both you and Alyssa. And your daughters are going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm loving what you're doing with the estate planning, because you got to do that for sure.
Absolutely. And Alyssa, your final message, and also where is it that people can continue the conversation with you as well?
Yes, for me, you can always reach out to me from my number is 917-231-5522. And if you ever want to go on Instagram and message me on there, get more information on there too, you could go to Boss Up with Ali. And Last thing I want to say is that, you know, this is amazing. I love, you know, sharing with you guys, and it was nice meeting you guys, and I look forward for more to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, there you have it. Thank you so much, beautiful ladies. Join our events for free where you can come and speak. I love to speak, share your message from your heart. I just create spaces and for more people to share their message from their heart. No need for preparation. If you do the work you do passionately every day, you should be talking about it while you wake up, you know, straight from sleep, because your heart is speaking. It's not your mind any longer. So that's what we're all about here at the Life School. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you with another event. Bye, everybody.
Bye.